Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, I'm going to be showing you guys something crazy. I don't know if this is a money glitch or it's just something strange that's going on in the world, and we've talked about a lot of different fishing strategies here on the channel. A lot of them you guys really seem to enjoy, whether that's, using an animal carcass to attract fish to the shore so you don't even have to throw your fishing rod out, or just the best fishing routes. Well, today we've got another variation of that. So in order to get this started, it's incredibly simple. All you do is travel a little bit south of Tumbleweed in New Austin. You're going to be looking for this tiny little area called Scratching Post. And Scratching Post essentially just consists of like a little farm area and a tiny square building. And what you're going to look for is sort of the back of this building. There's a section of fence. And right near that section of fence, there's a couple of, is it like horse troughs or something like that? There's water in there. That's all I know. And there's also a barrel nearby too. And what's so weird, and I don't understand why this is the case, but if you go to this location, you will find fish spawning on the ground, like really good fish. So for me, the fish that were spawning were the steelhead trout, and steelhead trout are the best of the satchel fish that you can store on you. And they also sell for $2.50 each. So that is kind of crazy. Why are these fish spawning right here on the ground? That's kind of weird. Now, usually the fish will spawn 3 to 6 at a time. I spent about an hour doing this last night, and the most I ever saw was 6, and the lowest amount I've ever seen was 3. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I think this is happening. Number one, it could just be a very strange glitch, and there might be no explanation for it, why fish are just simply dropping out of the sky in this area. But also, number two, this could be a result of that tiny little water trough right there. Fish are known to spawn in some pretty weird places in Red Dead Online, like fountains and places like that in Saint Denis. So there's a good chance that maybe the fish are accidentally spawning in this trough of water, and because it's so shallow and narrow, they're automatically flopping out onto the ground. So that might be one of the reasons why you could ultimately find fish here. So there's a strategy in order to collect these, because you sort of want to balance a couple of things here. Number one, picking up the amount of fish, because you can only get 10 at a time. And then number two, being efficient with your time when the fish are not there. So I was doing some experimenting, and I wanted to figure out if it was a time thing or a distance thing as to when the fish would respawn. And it turns out that it is definitely a time thing. So I noticed that after about maybe 4 or 5 minutes, the fish will respawn. It does not matter how far away you go and come back. If it's still before that 4 to 5 minutes, the fish are not going to be there. So there's 2 strategies that I can recommend for doing something like this, if you want to do this process. The first would be to stay in the same lobby. So obviously the first step would be to go there, collect the fish. Depending on how many you get, 4 or 5, you're halfway there to getting a full satchel. Then from there, you've got about 5 minutes that you need to burn up. Now, lucky enough for you, pretty much anywhere in New Austin, which is where we are, you're going to find a ton of animals, whether it's sheep, whether it's, exotic birds, whether it's bigger animals or even cougars that you could find near Tumbleweed as well. Essentially, what you want to do is just hunt over and over and over again. Collect pelts, collect carcasses, collect bird feathers that you put in your satchel. And after about 4 or 5 minutes, you're going to want to head right back to that location and pick up more fish. And if you get lucky, within 2 trips, you should have 10 sockeye salmon or 10 steelhead trout, whatever is spawning for you. For me, it was steelhead trout. So if you go twice and you still only have 7, 8, or 9 fish, you just repeat the process one more time. You go back, you go hunt some more animals, you collect some carcasses, some pelts, some bird feathers, whatever the case is, and then you return for a 3rd and final time. And if you return for that 3rd time, you're almost guaranteed to fill yourself up on whatever fish it is, the steelhead trout. Now, once you've acquired all 10, this is when you want to head right back over to the butcher in Tumbleweed. Now, this journey, along with selling all the other items you have on the back of your horse, should take about another 5 minutes, and then to get back, you're definitely going to see that the fish will have respawned. So that right there is method number 1. It's pretty efficient. You're going to be gathering a lot of supplies, and you're going to be making some pretty good money too. Now, if you're looking to move a little bit faster and you're not necessarily focused on hunting other animals, we'll simply just change sessions. So a lot of people have been wondering, how do you spawn in the exact same spot? You just go to online and then you just go to free roam, and it'll put you relatively in the same spot. And from here, you're just going to hop sessions over and over and over again. And because the way Red Dead Online works, where items spawn in the same place in every lobby every single time, you're going to notice that every time you go here, you're going to find the exact same fish that are spawning. Now, the only problem with this is when you join a random lobby like this, there's no way to guarantee if you're going to be the only one looking for these fish. And I can guarantee you, as this method becomes more popular, you're going to find more people that are going to be hovering around this area. So I'd say that's probably only the one downside to doing something like this is, at least hopping lobbies, is you have no way of knowing what's going to be on the other side when you join into that session. It could be someone very friendly, or it could be someone very protective over their fishing spot, and they don't want to give it up. Both methods work really well. In any case, if you're doing this, you want to make sure you're alone or with posse members. This really isn't going to work all that well if you're fighting for the fish. There just isn't enough to divide amongst a lot of people. So even though this is pretty interesting, I wanted to compare if this was faster than normal fishing, because this wouldn't make sense if it wasn't faster than sitting at a riverbed or a lake and catching fish. So for this example, I wanted to try and catch the exact same fish that was spawning for me, which was the steelhead trout. I feel like that would make the best one-to-one comparison here. So I went to the Dakota River and I started fishing. And there's different methods for fishing, different lures. You could use a river lure, the special spinner. I tried a little bit of both here, and it sort of does depend on the lobby. But in this case, I almost reckon that, yes, going to this place in Tumbleweed was a little bit faster, because even though you only catch, 3 to 4 to 5 or 6 fish at a time, you're basically getting them instantly. Whereas to catch 6 fish in game might take you, 5 or 10 minutes, depending on how good you are at it. And you're not getting any of the other added benefits as well, like going and hunting other animals, getting other carcasses, being more effective with your time. You're just sitting on the riverbed waiting for the fish to grab on. Now, one could argue, especially if you're using something like the special spinner, that fishing a normal way is much more effective, because not only are you going to be catching steelhead trout, you're going to be catching other fish as well, like the smaller ones, bluegill, that you can sell as well. So I think at the end of the day, it's all about your personal preference. One of the big downsides about this location that was found today is it is sort of like out of the way. It's south of Tumbleweed. There's not a lot going on down there. So you sort of have to go there for that specific purpose. Whereas pretty much any body of water you can find, you can fish in, which does make it a little bit more effective. So I don't know what is the better route. It honestly depends on your own personal preference here. There's definitely pros and cons to both of these styles of catching fish. I would say that if you're in the area, if you're in Tumbleweed and sort of south of there, there's no reason why you shouldn't take advantage of this. It seems like a pretty effective way to really easily gather fish. But if you're not in that area, it might not be worth it to go out of your way to try something like this. Now, bottom line, at the end of the day, if this is something you at a minimum want to try for yourself, I would recommend doing this sooner rather than later. There's a good chance that this glitch is already on Rockstar's radar, and I can almost guarantee you that in the next update, this is something that they will fix. Even if it wasn't getting players lots of money, they would probably want this just to not happen, having random fish spawn in the desert. So this will probably be taken away soon. So if you find this effective and if you want to take advantage of it, again, I would go for it much sooner rather than later, because Rockstar have confirmed that in 2019, a lot more updates are going to be on the way, and a fix like this for glitches like this and more will probably be coming soon. But anyways, that's all the information that I've got for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below if you have tried this money glitch fish spawn method. Is it effective, and do you find it more effective than just regularly fishing in Red Dead Online? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.